very, very big thank you for making the effort to join the meeting this morning. Clearly, certainly to me, and maybe to some others, this is modern technology at its best. It's a first for me, but it seems to be working well, just a slight delay. So once again, thank you everybody for making the effort. So before I get into the meeting proper, as usual, sadly, we've got to report some very sad losses amongst our numbers. And bear in mind, these are not just association guys, these are from the Commando Brotherhood. These are deceased. Sorry. These are deceased since our last meeting. So I'll now invite Peter to read the obituaries, and then to token of respect, we'll have a minute's silence and then we'll get into the meeting. Thank you.
The obituaries are as follows. Lance Bombardier Neil Fortune, number 4 Commando, left us on the 7th of December 2019, aged 101. Sergeant Jim Shepherd, 8 Battery 9529 Commando Regiment, left us on the 9th of April 2020. Major Brian Nicol, Royal Artillery, 8 Battery 29 Commando, 10th of April 2020. Staff Sergeant Paddy Baker, 7-9 and 8 Battery 29 Commando, 17th of May 2020. Bombardier Marty McCarran, 148 Battery 29 Commando, the 19th of May 2020. Gunner Tom Vinnell, 7 Battery 29 Commando, 12th of June 2020.
I read you in the obituaries out.
Gunner Sergeant Frederick Snowden, 3 Commando Brigade Royal Marines, 28th of August 2020, aged 85. Major Paul Green, Royal Artillery, 145, 8, 7, 9 and HQ Batteries 29 Commando Regiment, 30th of August 2020. Leonard Taylor, Brigade SIGs, September 2020. Joe Spicer, number 4 Commando, the 4th of September 2020, aged 95. Sergeant David Millward, 8 Battery 9529 Commando Regiment, 14th of September 2020. Charles Cyril Stacey, number 3 Commando, 16th of September 2020, aged 99. Gunner Barry Hughes, 8 Battery 29 Commando Regiment, 23rd of September 2020. Charlie Spufford, number 5 Commando, 7th of October 2020. Arthur Jesse Lambert, 4-2 Commando Royal Marines, 5th of November 2020, aged 95. Major Edward Birch, Royal Artillery, 145 Battery 29 Commando, 16th of November 2020. Corporal P. Ashbrook, 45 Commando Royal Marines, 12th of December 2020, aged 97. Major Alan Davis, number 1 Commando, 20th of January 21, aged 100. Lieutenant later Major Alan Dudley Coote, number 4 Commando, 22nd of January 21, aged 98. Brigadier Jack Thomas CBE, number 6 Commando, 28th of January 21.
Okay, thank you all. Before I move on, some of the obituaries there, there's no doubt in my mind that some of you will know them personally, a lot you won't. But one of the most poignant ones was I only got notification yesterday of the passing of Brigadier Jack Thomas. Jack was the president of the association from its inception until he retired just a couple of years ago. So our thoughts go out to his family on that one. Well, thank you for that. So moving on then, the first item on the agenda, you've all seen a copy of the agenda. It was published in the last issue of Dispatches, which went out just before Christmas. There was one slight amendment, not changing it, but just moving an item round, and we'll come across that shortly. So the first item then is the minutes of the last AGM, which obviously was held in Fort William last year. And the minutes of that meeting were published in the issue number 43, which went out last year, which I assume you all had a copy of. No one's raised any comments towards them minutes. So I therefore take it that there wasn't any. So if I could therefore please have a proposer that the minutes be accepted as a true record of what went on in Fort William last year.
Sure.
Sean Farrelly, propose. Are you making it up?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Proposed by Sean Farrelly, seconded by
Hallam.
Jerry Josie.
Yeah.
All in favour?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Against, if any? None against. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Moving on now to the next item, which is the accounts. The accounts were published in issue number 44. Again, I've had no queries or questions on that. So I take it that everybody was happy with those.
What have you got your mask on?
Oh, I don't know.
So on that basis, could I please have a proposer
Right,
that the accounts be accepted as a true record? Bob Hallam, proposing. Second. Somebody second it, please. Phil Yabsley. All in favour?
Yes.
Against, if any? The accounts have been duly passed. Thank you.
That was Nick Collins, wasn't it?
The next item now is the Secretary's report on CVA activities and progress. Well, this isn't going to take very long at all because sadly, like everybody else, we've been badly hit by COVID. So everything that we've normally got planned had to be cancelled all the way through the year. You know what the events are, so I don't need to waste time with those. Lots of other things that we had planned. We had Commando 80, which was going to be our fantastic parade in London. Sadly, that had to be shelved. And then there was a few other bits and pieces because, as you all know, it was the 75th anniversary of VE and VJ Day. They had to go by the wayside, and there was other things planned in France and Holland, which again all had to go by the wayside. So a very, very sad year in many, many ways. Affected everybody differently. So I'm afraid I've nothing much to report on the past year. Normally, I would tell you what I've got planned for the coming year, but as I will be handing over today, and this is my last meeting, then clearly I haven't got any plans for you for next year. That'll be down to the new secretary, and hopefully they will carry on and come up with their own ideas. It is my intention, if they so desire, to seek any assistance or help from me, then I'll be only too pleased to do that. But I'm afraid that's my report for now. The next item is propositions for the new committee. You all had, again, unless you tell me otherwise, I have to assume that you all received your last copy of Dispatches, which I was delighted to say we managed to get out just before Christmas. And in there was a the nominations for the new committee members. I also included a voting form, which came back with unanimous votes for everybody that was proposed, which can only be good. So I hope the people that have been voted in live up to the expectations of the membership. And the first person to be voted was our chairman, who is Captain Tam Watson. So Tam, give us a wave to let us know you're here. Tam, give us a wave, pal.
Can you hear us, Tam?
He's all, oh, no. His screen's all black.
Oh, I can see him from here.
We can see him.
He was there earlier.
He's been moving, just frozen, I think.
Can you hear me, Tam?
I think it got sound.
Tam.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. Tam, can you hear us?
Right, okay, obviously a technical problem, but it doesn't really matter. Tam's volunteered to be our chairman, so I would like somebody to propose that Tam be our new chairman.
Valuable.
Bob Hallam proposes it. John Bennett will second it. Everybody was in favour. So basically what we're voting on there is acceptance of the vote, if that makes sense. So we don't need a vote now. That's it. So Tam is the new chairman.
Can you hear everybody, Tam? No, he's having technical problems.
Okay.
I'll give him a quick ring, Pete.
Can you all see Tam on the screen?
Yeah.
He keeps coming and going.
Yeah. Okay. Right, the next item then, we'll come back to him, don't worry. The next item is the appointment of the secretary. Peter Oxley volunteered to take on the job as secretary. Again, that was published and the voting papers came back with a unanimous vote for Peter. So can I have a proposer that the result of that ballot be accepted?
Yeah, Steve Walton, mate.
Yeah.
Steve Walton and Jerry Josie.
A bit close to the camera.
So that's it. It gives me great pleasure to appoint Tam Watson as the chairman and Peter Oxley as the secretary until the next annual general meeting, or should anything else ensue. Peter, it's all yours, mate.
Fred. Right, come on, Tam, get yourself working, mate. Right, as the new chairman and taking over the meeting as from now, it is my duty and pleasure to introduce and bring in the new committee.
You've got to stand those down first.
But before I can do that, I would ask that the new committee, thank you for your time and efforts you've put in over the years. And I will ask you now to stand down from your current posts. Right.
Hardy.
Yeah, it probably is.
Right, it is my pleasure now to appoint a new committee for the
He
Commando
stands up and he's only
Association.
4'11" tall. It's definitely Harding.
I think somebody needs to go on mute. It keeps interrupting. The gentleman with the lady by his side keeps talking.
Who's that? Might be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to be a pain, but every time they talk, they cut whoever's introducing or talking, they cut them off.
Right,
So we can't
okay.
hear you.
Right. As per the list that you have all voted on in dispatches, the nomination for the Assistant Secretary is Dave Matthews, and the majority vote was for Dave. So therefore, can I have a seconder for that? Or propose, yeah.
You propose it.
Yeah. Sean Farley.
You can propose them all.
Yeah, right. So therefore, then Dave Matthews is duly elected as Assistant Secretary. Welcome aboard, David.
Thank you, members.
Treasurer and Membership Secretary is David Justice. And can I have a seconder for that, please?
Stuart Jordan.
Stuart Jordan. Thank you, Stuart. So, David, you are duly elected as and carrying on as the Treasurer and Membership Secretary.
Peter, before we go on, I've just got a phone call off Tam. Can you re-add him to the list? He's
right,
dropped out for some reason. Just needs to rejoin you.
Okay, done.
He's doing it now, mate.
The associate members associate members rep has been is nominated as Ron Lane. Can I have a seconder for that, please? I hope. So therefore, Ron Lane is duly elected as the associate members rep. The welfare rep is nominated as Jerry Josie. Can I have a seconder for that, please?
John Bennett.
John Bennett. Welcome aboard, Jerry, again.
Thank you, members. Thank you, members.
The merchandise rep is nominated as Ron Lane. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Mark Howson. Thank you, Mark. National Memorial representative is nominated as Di Hope. Can I have a seconder for that, please?
Seconder.
Dave Matthews.
Tam's back on. Can you hear us now, Tam?
No,
Still can't hear us.
No. I can see him. The museum rep is nominated is Bill Harvey. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Jerry Josie. Bill is duly elected as a museum rep. Historical archivist and photographer nominated with again a majority vote is Nick Collins. Can I have a seconder for that, please?
Can hear you, have you got me?
Nick, welcome, and welcome to the post.
Thank you.
The National Standard Bearer nominated was Jerry Josie, and the vote was for Jerry. Therefore, can I have a seconder for that, please?
Yeah.
Right.
You froze then, Peter.
Right, I'd just like to...
Did he ask for a support?
Sorry, what did you say, Jerry?
You froze when you were talking about votes and things. It just froze out.
Oh, right, okay. Well, the last one that I said was the historical archivist, which was Nick Collins. Does everybody get that one?
You got as far as me.
All right, okay.
And then it froze.
National Standard Bearer nominated and voted for was Jerry Josie. Can I have a second? I've got a second of John Bennett for that. Thank you very much, John Bennett.
Thank you, members.
I'd just like to say at this stage that the associate members that have been voted on to the committee, Ron Lane, Nick Collins and Bill Harvey, as they are now serving on the committee and as per the last committee meeting, those personnel now have a full vote because they are serving on the committee, and that vote will last for the tenure of their appointment.
Yeah. Well done, guys.
Right. I'm now going to give you an update or progress as far as I see it at the moment. So, as they say, pin back your lug holes and listen in. Right, events. Planning for the normal events that take place throughout the year will go ahead where feasible. However, as we all know, it will depend on restrictions imposed by the government in respect of COVID-19. The committee and myself will utilise, where possible, email, Facebook and our own Commando Association Facebook page to keep members informed regarding events. But as I have already stated, all will depend on COVID restrictions. Hopefully, they will have been greatly relaxed. Realistically, I believe the first event that we could go ahead with would be Fort William and Speen Bridge, but I fear on a much reduced scale. Hopefully, there will be a chance to hold a much reduced ceremony at the National Arboretum in June this year. However, this will again depend on COVID restrictions, but it will more than likely be 2022. For those members who have not yet joined our Commando Association Facebook page, I would strongly recommend that you do so. This is a secure page and only members with an association membership number can gain access. This is not to be confused with the Commando Association CA page, which is not secure. The Commando Association page is a members only page, and this will be one of the main methods to keep members informed of the way ahead and what is happening and when. So if you haven't already joined that Facebook page, please do so. Moving on to merchandise, Ron Lane will be the new merchandise member for the association. Both he and the committee are at present negotiating costs for a new dedicated merchandise website. It is hoped that the selection of merchandise available to members will be greatly increased as a result. If any member has any ideas for items, please feel free to contact Ron with your ideas, or you can come through to me. The Commando Veterans website. Both the chairman and I, along with Bill Harvey and Nick Collins, will be contacting the controllers of this website with a view to offering our assistance to them in any way we can, in order to foster a closer relationship and hopefully increase the already vast amount of knowledge about the commandos that exists on this website. If you haven't been on it, I would suggest you do it. It's a fantastic place. Subscriptions. Subscriptions may well be reviewed once a full audit of accounts is completed and a cash flow forecast is implemented, which will give us a fuller picture of the state of the association's finances. Recruiting new members. It is intended to carry out a number of recruiting drives throughout the coming year, again, depending on COVID restrictions, to increase our membership where possible. If any member or any members know of anyone who has left the association and wishes to rejoin, then please get in touch with them. Details of joining can be obtained from Dave Justice, our membership secretary. For anybody that is interested, the dates of the new or the next couple of all arms commando courses at Lympston are the 3rd of May to the 16th of July, the 30th of September to the 3rd of December. I intend to use this as an ideal recruiting base for new members especially as we'll be standing at the end of the 30 miler. When they're knackered, we can give them a joining form.
Yeah, right.
Peter, while there's a slight pause, can I just advise you that Tam is trying to rejoin using his phone?
Okay.
Peter, can I also add one in whilst you're there? There is an all-arms commando course for reserve forces later in the year as well, so that might be another opportunity to get there.
Do you know the dates?
No, but Andy Cook will be able to get them for you.
Okay, I'll catch Andy Cook then. Right. That's all I have to say at the present moment in time. Is Tam back on yet?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, he's here. Way. Hello, Tam.
Here he is.
Right. Well, I've said all my bits and pieces that I bet you know what I was going to say anyway, because I've been through it with you. I'm now going to ask for proposals from the floor, and I believe our outgoing secretary has a proposal. Fred?
Thank you, Peter. There can't be any doubt in anyone's mind of the events and things that have gone on in my tenure over the last 15 years. There's lots and lots of things that have gone on that the majority of the membership don't know about, like our veterans attending various functions. Some of them, when it's been appropriate, I've put pictures in the dispatches and things like that. But there's lots and lots of other things that have gone on that go unreported. The majority of the beneficiaries have been our World War II guys who I've concentrated on mostly. You will have seen on the front page of our last dispatches, every one of those guys have been visited by me or contacted by me in one way or another. And we've currently got about 45 World War II vets left. The main supporter of our veterans has been the Not Forgotten Association. They're an absolutely fantastic organisation. They don't get tremendous publicity because they don't spend anything on advertising and publicity. Charities such as the Army Benevolent Fund and the Not the Forgotten, Help for Heroes, things like that. Very, very wealthy charities, but they spend an awful lot on overheads. The Not Forgotten Society is the oldest charity in the country, and last year celebrated their 100th anniversary. This was a charity set up by a lady when she realised the soldiers coming back from the front after the First World War were terribly distressed, injured, whatever. There was no welfare organisations like the British Legion and anything to help them out. So she set up this charity, and it's been going ever since. And their main aim is to help servicemen, both serving and ex-servicemen, to lead as normal life as they possibly can. Unlike the bigger charities, the Army Benevolent Fund and things like that, they don't give financial grants and household aids and things like that. The majority of it is mental. So a lot of guys that are suffering, which is very common now, PTSD. It wasn't heard of several years ago, but it is a serious illness, you know, and it's very well recognised now. So this charity put on lots of things, entertainment-wise, physical-wise. So as soon as people like myself get in touch with them and say, this guy's got a problem, put him in touch, find out what it is. They go on fishing trips, they go on holidays, lots of adventure things, climbing, whatever. And they get servicemen back on the sort of straight and narrow. It is an absolutely wonderful organisation. And 1% of their income is spent on overheads, you know, with advertising material and things like that. They were going to do such a lot last year for the World War II veterans to celebrate VE/VJ Day. Obviously, it's all had to be cancelled. So what they did, they sent out 5,500 gifts, gift boxes with various bits and pieces in, to let the guys know that they're not forgotten. So as I say, it's a wonderful organisation. It's something that I've been involved with for an awful long time, and lots of our veterans have been supporting. Now that we've got a welfare rep, I'm hoping I will introduce him to them and make further use, because there's lots of guys out there. And what I've found over the last few months, a lot of our debtors, lads who haven't paid the subs, are because they've fallen on hard times and they're suffering from PTSD. And that is where the Not Forgotten could kick in and help them. So there you go. I could talk all day about it. And they've produced their annual report. I did put a little bit in dispatches, which tells you all the things that they do. They supply televisions, laptops, and lots of things like that. So if you want to know anything more, you can go on their website, obviously, or I can give you. But to get to the point now, I think it's about time that our association made a donation to the Not Forgotten. Looking at the finances and knowing where we are in a very healthy financial state. Very soon, the annual subscriptions will be due again, which will boost that. The funds would have been even higher than what they are now, but again, COVID hit us last year, and what we would normally raise at Fort William, which on average is about £3,000, which we raise on the Saturday night on the raffle and the auction. I also run the national draw, where we normally make about £1,500 on that. So last year we were down about £5,000 on things like that. But we still get grants and things coming in. Alan Davis's funeral last week, which I went to, the family made a donation of £250. So there's always little bits of income coming in over and above what the subscriptions are. So my proposal today is that we donate a sum of £5,000 to the Not Forgotten Association. If you take, as I say, 1% of that, the majority of that money will be spent on the good and benefit. There's people here today at this meeting that have benefited from the Not Forgotten, and a lot more, including yourselves, when the time comes, maybe you will benefit as well. So I strongly commend this proposition to you all. Thank you.
Can I just say something about that?
Please do.
At the moment, we have over £25,000 in the kitty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are quite well off.
Thank you, David.
Nick Calvert here.
That's my proposition. Can I have a second to the proposition, please?
Yes, Fred, I'll second it.
Mick Calvert. Mr. Secretary, or do you want to say more about it?
Before anybody says anything, I'd like to say I am actually against this, and I have the annual income from subscriptions is just a tad over £19,500 a year. The latest figures show that income has been greatly curtailed over the last year, and this has been due to no income from Fort William, the raffles or auctions, and no income from the Arboretum raffles or auctions. Our annual expenditure currently runs at just short of £29,000 a year, which indicates a loss of around £11,500 a year, or over the last year. A major cost per year is our Dispatches magazine, with an average cost of around £15,200. Currently, our bank balance is 25.5, or just over 25,500. A donation of £5,000 would reduce this balance to just over 20,500. The 2020 depletion in cash reserves looks to be running at around about 11,500 for the year, and the next fundraising event is likely to be, COVID restrictions permitting at the Arboretum in June 2022, which is a total period of at least 17 months before our income from any fundraising can even begin to be replenished. Meantime, the money due from subscriptions in April will barely cover outgoings. The current rate of depletion in cash reserves indicates that we are at risk of becoming insolvent before the end of the first year of normal fundraising events is completed. As a result, the committee will need to look very seriously at carrying out cost cuts where possible. This could include a marked reduction in the number of copies of dispatches produced each year and a marked increase in annual subscriptions to our members. What is needed is up-to-date accounts and to implement a simple forward-looking cash flow before any decision can be made on such a large charitable donation, regardless of how deserving the recipient may be. I believe that a vote for such a significant amount will have a serious adverse economic effect on the Commando Association's finances in the near future.
Well, there you have it, folks. Two differences of opinions. My proposal is based on historical facts. My good friend Peter, his is based on the future. But none of us know what the future holds for any of us. None of us may benefit. All of us may need the benefit, whatever. As I said, if you've got a problem, you deal with it when the problem occurs. And the same with fundraising. And with the greatest of respect, a lot of it depends on the new committee, how they go about raising funds. And there's lots and lots of different ways where money can be raised. We make money on pavers at the Arboretum. We pay £7 for them. We sell them for £30. It's a good profit. That won't go on forever, whatever. But there's lots of other things that we could do to raise funds. We could debate it all day long. Sorry, Helen.
Sorry, on you go,
Debate it all day long, and I will give you the opportunities to say that. But as you say, we've got two guys here, both dedicated to the cause. One with all the historic background, one that's hopefully going to take the association forward. The rest of it is down to yourselves. Heather.
Can I just say something on giving money from one charity to another? I don't think you can do it. You're allowed to have a specific fundraiser to donate to another charity, but the Charity Commission state that a charity can't give from their general fund to another charity.
Well, I would take you to task on that because a lot of the beneficiaries from the Not Forgotten Association are military charities. The Army Benevolent Fund support it, Blessma support it, Star and Garter support it, and they are all not backstreet organisations. They are all big, well organisations. If they do it, it's got to be right.
So possibly then, Fred.
Sorry, hang on. Well, one at a time. Sorry, Helen. Yeah.
Right then. So possibly the Charity Commission in Scotland obviously have different guidelines.
Yeah.
I've worked with charities for the past 39 years. But you know, it's what it is.
You just need checking.
Yeah. I just thought I would say.
Can I simplify this as I understand, please?
Well, one at a time. Can you put your hands up, please? Otherwise, we'll all shout it across.
Hang on,
It's been
David.
up for the last 3 minutes.
Ernie.
Okay, thank you. Reference to charities, my understanding is the Commando Association is not a registered charity. We did look to set it up a few years ago, and when I was on the committee, and I did a lot of work, but it was blocked, so it never happened, which is a great shame because we lost all the taxation benefits and advantage. But my understanding is, unless something's changed, we're not a registered charity. If we are, we have a registered charity number.
Thank you for that, Ernie. And that, apart from what I said, Heather, that answers that question as well, doesn't it?
Dave Matthews, you've got something. Dave?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Yes, ladies and gents, we've talked about this in the past when I've been on the committee for the last 5 years, and it was decided that we are not a charity. And it was also decided that any charitable gifts we were making to any deserving cause, whether it's one of our members or out with the association, as this is a very noble cause and not forgotten, that we weren't able to do that. We talked at length and we decided that we would signpost needy causes to the various charities that are out there. SAFA, ABF, Not Forgotten, Help for Heroes, whatever that charity was. And that is why we decided on the welfare reps role should be much more involved in there. And that's what Jerry's going to take on. I agree with what the Secretary, Peter Oxley, has said. I don't think we're yet in a position to offer monies to other charities. And as the new committee's coming in, hopefully doing things to take the association forward, we would obviously look at these deserving charities and see where we can help. However, to take 5,000 out at this time, I don't think it's the right thing to do. And as I've said, it was minuted when we had these meetings that we would not be giving money to other charities, and we would simply signpost people or organizations to the charities which are already established there in the military systems, or for specifically military charities. So I would not vote for this £5,000 at this time. Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, David. David Justice.
Yes, with reference to our depleted funds, a lot of it is to do with purely and simply our membership fees. I did a brief look at them, and in the current year, we had 287 people paid no subs whatsoever. We had 17 were still paying the old £8 subs, and 175 were still paying £12, and there was only 122 paying the £15 subs. So if we did have a major blitz on the people that owed us money, it would greatly enhance our finances.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, David, but the thing is, what you've got to remember is that we have got to run for a whole year based on what we've got in the kitty. You know, and that's the figures that I gave out is based on what we've got in the kitty, not what's owed or anything like that. And we could be running at a loss.
But if we pull our finger out and chase up these people that's not paying the correct subs, then that would increase it.
Sorry, who was talking then?
Over the past years, it's always floated at around the 30.
Come back to you, Andy.
Mark. So we're only really £5,000 down on what we should be, which hopefully, when we do start again with all our functions and our raffles and auctions and everything, recoup that money.
Yeah, but in the meantime, we're going to be running at a loss. I could be pushing the boundaries of insolvency. Because
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry, Andy Cook, you want to say something?
Yeah,
Andy?
hi guys. Sorry. Yeah, joined a bit late there. IT problems in South Devon here. Yeah, I'm listening to that. What David just said about the you know, the lack of people paying the correct subs. Some people not even paying subs at all. You know, I think if we have a consolidated effort and pull our finger out and chase up these subs, you know, it wouldn't be too difficult. You know, I think that would make a good difference to you know, to the association monetary funds. And I think I heard what the new secretary was saying just now. You know, and I think that's very worst case scenario. You know, that talking about insolvency and maybe the next fund event may not be until sort of June 2022. You know, I think you know, I think we need to maybe look a bit more positive, and I think that's a very worst case scenario. But I think certainly chasing up all these subs would certainly help.
Okay.
In response to what David just said, he's quite right. This was discussed 5 years ago. Not one single penny has gone to any other charity in 5 years. It's not happening. But lots of other things have happened. Lots of people have benefited from the Not Forgotten, and that's what I'm concentrating on today. Okay. As you say, don't forget, we're a non-profit making organisation. So if we run at a loss, that's not illegal or against the law. It's a fact. That's what your money's for, to be spent on things for the good and benefit of the association and its members. So as I say, you know, we could have done something over the past 5, 10, 15 years, and we haven't. And what I'm saying is now is the time. We have got the money and we can spend it wisely, in my opinion, on the benefit of what the Not Forgotten gives. That now sets us a target, as David has just said, for us to roll our sleeves up, pull our fingers out, chase these people that have the subs, and get on and raise some money.
Jerry, you got something to say?
Thank you very much indeed. I've sat listening intently with my new welfare reps head on. I've listened to both sides of the story. I strongly believe, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to anybody, when we start talking about chasing subs, it is a dead dog. We do not get the subs in at the rate we would need to boost the funds to allow us to give so much away. Whilst I have the welfare of the association and their members at heart, I would suggest, if we are going to, and I think it is a very good cause, if we are going to donate something and £5,000 causes division between the members, could I suggest that we reduce the fund to £3,000 and vote on that? I think we do need to support these charities. However, we also need to look at home. Good husbandry begins at home, and we cannot allow ourselves to be put in a position where we may not in future be able to assist our members on welfare. That's my point, gentlemen.
Okay, Jerry, I accept that. It's a very valid point. However, having said that, I totally disagree with you that chasing up subs is a dead horse. David Justice will bear me out on this. Over the last 2 years, I've recovered £2,000 from people that haven't paid for 2, 3 or 4 years. And they are the priority, and what I've offered to the new committee, that I will continue to chase these people for the subs. And 9 times out of 10, my response is, for heaven's sake, Fred, I'm sorry, you know, doesn't matter the expletives that are used, but the banter that I have with them, ever so sorry, Fred, put your check in the post. And if you go through the bank statements, you will see subs coming in of 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. It's not a dead horse at all. And with about £8,000 outstanding, it is well worth chasing. And that £8,000 would more than cover the £5,000 that I'm talking about.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
Apropos of that, when I mentioned the people that are paying nothing, the people that are paying £8, £12 and £15, there was 81 people paid another amount. And the other amount was normally over the £15, so £50, £30, etc. So Fred has chased 81 people and managed to get them to pay subs.
Thank you for that, David. Who's that?
Mick Johnson.
Mick, if you can hear us, you need to unmute yourself.
How's that?
Yeah, that's it. Carry on.
Right. I agree with Jerry that it would be an idea to reduce it to £3. As for raising funds, I feel in this day and age that we're in, with the communications we have, we don't necessarily have to wait until we're all meeting together at Fort William, Olwas or anywhere else to organise some way of raising funds. We can do online raffles. I mean, you've got the equipment there to sort some other means of raising funds. It doesn't necessarily have to be when we're all together. I, for one, am all for giving something to the Not Forgotten Association. I think it's a wonderful cause, and I think we can all benefit from it. And that's all I've got to say. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Tam, did you want to come in on this?
Stuart, did he?
Stuart, hang on, Tam, hang on. Stuart Jordan, go on.
So I agree with the last points. You know, there are plenty of opportunities for us to get online and start the fundraising now. We don't need to wait 17, 18 months. You know, who knows what's going to happen. And actually, you know, the very fact that you've got more people here today than you probably have ever had at an AGM suggests to me that this is the way to engage. You're looking to go to the RFCCs and get the younger lads. They don't have the time or the opportunity to go to Fort William on a weekend where they're normally parading. You know, I've been parading for 25 years with 131, and there's no chance I could get away up and join the AGMs. So, you know, there is plenty of opportunity, I think, for us now with a new committee, with a new impetus, and maybe this is the kickstart we need to start engaging and re-energizing.
Thank you for that, Stuart. Much appreciated. Tam.
I think can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's fantastic. I think there's a lot of positivity there, and everybody is obviously going in the right direction. And I don't think, Fred, anybody is having a dig or picking up the charity that you're wishing to contribute to. I think it is just the amount. I think if between the two outgoing and incoming secretaries, before we go to the vote, I would possibly suggest, Fred, you would maybe consider dropping that amount to 5,000. And then if everybody's content with what they say, we'd just put it to the vote. Secretary.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, you've heard all the arguments for and against. Hang on, Jerry, you've got something?
Yeah,
Jerry?
I'm listening to Tam there. I did actually mention reducing it to 3,000. So I would like to make a proposal that we reduce the grant from 5 to 3. That way we are supporting a very well worth charity, but not putting ourselves in any danger. I am happy that we can do bingo online. We can do raffles online. I'm currently a member of a gig rowing club, and we raised thousands of pounds by doing that very same thing.
Thank you, Jerry. Yes.
Okay, well, I think we've given it a fair hearing and we've heard both sides of the argument, whatever. I did give it, you know, £5,000 isn't just, oh, that sounds like a good idea, whatever. I think £5,000 would make a substantial difference. We could argue all day about whether it should be £4,000 or £6,000, £3,000 or £7,000. It's just a figure. I've arrived at £5,000 because I honestly and firmly believe that the association can afford it. We've got the money there. When I took over the association, we had £5,000, just over £5,000 in the kitty. We have spent bucket loads of money over the years. We've bought new standards. We've got money to show for it. New baldricks, all sorts of things like that. We've subsidised events, whatever. We built up a good relationship. We get subsidised rates at Fort William. We get subsidised rates at the National Arboretum, whatever. So it's up to us now to go out, as people have already said, encourage new members, whatever. So, you know, the amount is just an arbitrary figure. I'm proposing £5,000 because I firmly and honestly believe that we can afford it. And by what the majority have said, you've agreed that it's a good cause and worthy to go. So once again, I commend this proposition to you. So I think it's time we went to the vote, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, I think it's everybody's had a say. You know what the proposal is: £5,000 to the Not Forgotten charity. So therefore, we'll have a vote, and because it's important, we need to make sure that we clearly understand whether you're voting for the £5,000 or against it. So what I'm going to ask Fred to do is to go down the nominal roll as we currently have it, and you need to say for or against. Fred?
Okay. John Bennett.
John Bennett.
John Bennett,
He's
where have you
on
gone?
mute. He's on mute.
Okay, I'll come back to him. Ernie Brown.
Against.
Dave Burgess.
For.
Mick Calvert.
For.
Andy Cook. Andy Cook.
Yeah, for.
Self, obviously. Sean Farrelly.
Against.
Bob Hallam.
Against.
John Harding.
For.
Fred Holt.
For.
Di Hope.
Against.
Yes.
Mark Howson.
For.
Mick Johnson.
For.
Stuart Jordan.
For.
Jerry Josie.
Against.
William Mallison.
For.
Dave Matthews.
Against.
Albert McNichol.
For.
Martin Murphy.
For.
Peter Oxley.
Against.
Bill Pinter.
Against.
Steve Walton.
For.
Tam Watson.
Against.
Phil Yabsley.
For.
Paul Youngman.
For.
Dennis Percy.
For.
If we miss anybody.
You missed me.
Who's me?
David Justice.
David Justice, you forgot him.
Yeah, William Rendell. Yeah, William, we can't see you, but you haven't got a vote, pal. You're an associate. Sorry.
Hey.
David Justice. What?
He's not got a vote.
For. Yeah, he has. He's on the committee.
You've only just voted. You've only just given the right to vote on this meeting.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
well, therefore he's allowed to vote.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, so are the
That-
others then, aren't they?
The associate
Exactly.
member, Ron Lane.
Right, okay. Sorry, just bear with us.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is in the corner. Right, so.
Well, hang on, Ron. Ron, what's your vote on that?
Against.
Well, I have
Nick Collins.
Hang up. Against.
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 Well, I'm going to test the waters here now because
Don't forget me, boys.
who's me? Who's
John
that?
Bennett.
Yeah, you got to go back a bit. John Bennett.
John Bennett
Yeah, I'm against.
Hi, Fred.
against.
William Rendell's associate.
Right, I'm going to test the waters here because I don't know if it's ever been done. So, Bill Harvey, because he is not here because of his COVID jab, so it's not his fault, which takes preference over it, has given me his proxy to vote on anything that he wants. And he's asked me to vote on behalf of him using his vote. And I've already spoken to him and he is against this. So therefore.
Well, with the greatest of respect, we can't accept that vote because if that was the case, Jeff Murray asked me last night, could I vote by proxy? And I said no. And there's at least 3 people that would have voted for the proposition that can't be at the meeting.
Surprise, surprise.
There you go. That's it. And that's always been the case at Fort William.
Excellent.
Yeah, whatever we've voted for has not been representative of the membership. That's a fact. You know, the turnout that we've got today is very similar, and I've got last year's booking in slip, very, very similar. So I'm afraid we can't just make ad hoc rules and things like that. It just doesn't happen. If you're not here, you can't vote. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, inform Mr. Secretary. If this is a proposal from the floor, how did 3 members know what to vote for before we've had this meeting?
Sorry, say that again.
If this was a proposal from the floor, your proposal, you're stating that 3 members who would have voted for it, how did they know about this proposal before we've had the meeting?
Here, here.
This is the same as anywhere else. People talk. What are you on about?
Right.
People talk.
Former Mr. Secretary.
How does Bill Harvey know about it?
Mr. Secretary, this is an AGM. The proposal is from the floor. Therefore, I didn't know anything about it until now, and we've given it a fair hearing, and we've all added our bit to it, and we've all voted.
It's irrelevant. It really is.
It's not irrelevant, Mr. Secretary. It's very relevant. It's got to be clear and transparent and democratic. Therefore, if people know about it before, they can have more time to decide what's the right thing. Talked it over between people. That isn't right. I didn't know about it, and therefore nobody else should know.
He's moaning now. That.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. You've heard all the facts for and against, and you've voted on it. That's it. You've had the vote, Peter.
Bill,
no, we haven't had the vote. Peter, Mr. Secretary, Mr. Chairman, Fred, we haven't had time to let the committee get in, the new committee. I agree with all the comments. Again, I agree on the wrong amount, 5,000. We could even reduce that to 2.5. It was with me. What I suggest is that we have a look at this again. 6 months from now, we put out a proposal taking this forward. And that gives everybody a chance to have a look, have a think, and see also the accounts that we stand at and that we're not receiving in. I propose that this is put on a back burner for a couple of months to let tempers come down a bit and everybody else gets electronic vote if need be, like when batches come out.
Yeah.
I'll second that. Yeah.
With the greatest of respect, you all heard the proposal. Peter spoke against it at length. I spoke for it at length, and everybody was given the opportunity to speak either for or against the proposition. Having everybody given that opportunity, we then went to the vote. The vote was taken. I know what the result of the vote is. Peter does because he sat next to me. That's it. You can't come back now and say, I don't like it, or we want to propose something different. I'm sorry, gentlemen, ladies. We've done it democratically. We've done it transparently. That's it.
Yes.
You can talk all day, but
Mr. Secretary, Secretary, the proposal was a vote on 5,000 and a vote on 3,000.
It wasn't.
We've only done
no, it
one
wasn't.
vote.
We never voted on 3,000.
We haven't voted on 3,000 yet.
We haven't voted on 3,000.
Either vote for 5,000 or 3,000.
No, it wasn't either or. It never was. People suggested 3,000. It wasn't put forward as a proposition. It wasn't put
by Jerry.
All right, so you're quite happy to railroad through this through then, Freddie?
No, I'm not railroading through anything. I'm sticking to the procedure, and the procedure was a proposal was put forward, and it was spoken on.
Yeah, happy with that, Fred. What was the result of the vote?
It was seconded. Hang on, Jerry. I'll let you speak. right? It was voted on properly. During the discussion, it was suggested that the amount may well be reduced to 3,000. At no point did anybody propose that. You suggested it. You didn't propose it. What you could have done,
I did propose
what you
it, but
could
never
have
mind, go on.
done is propose an amendment to the proposition. But you didn't do that. It's not for me to teach you procedure. You did not propose and get seconded and vote on an amendment. It didn't happen.
I believe Budge is trying to say something.
So, gents, can we just keep this down a little bit? Getting into a bit of an area where I'm not quite sure about. You know, we need to be doing it in a certain manner and putting the proposals forward, not having some bickering match over it. So we just need to calm the language down and then, you know, clear up on the vote or what the vote is or not. But let's not get into big arguments with each other. We're meant to be a brotherhood.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well said.
Right. Well, the proposal was £5,000 to the Not Forgotten, and it was a vote taken for or against, and the vote is 16 for, 12 against. So therefore, it's carried.
Accepted.
Hooray!
Accepted.
Accepted, yeah.
However, as a footnote to that, although it's been accepted, no payment will be made to the Not Forgotten until I have had a chance, along with the secretary, to have a full audit of the accounts to see where we stand. And when I and the chairman feel that it is appropriate and we have enough money to be able to do it, we will pay the Not Forgotten.
Agreed.
But until that audit is done, I am not prepared to give a check over. Yes, I can.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Clarify that.
Yeah.
The full year's accounts, our accounting year is May to May, so the full accounts won't be due until May, the end of May, and that will then include all of the new subscriptions that are coming on April the 1st.
Fine.
So that will give you a true idea of how the accounts sit.
Exactly. So until I am happy and the chairman is happy, nothing will be paid to them. Although the proposal is passed or accepted, no money is going anywhere until I've been in a position to have a full audit of the accounts.
Yeah.
We're not going to get into an argument. Mick, speak. Mick Calvert.
Peter, I thought that at the beginning of this meeting we signed off that it was a true account.
No.
Do what? Sorry, what? Couldn't hear you, Mick.
At the beginning of the meeting, I thought that we agreed that the result was an acceptance of the account.
Yeah, but that was not for this year. And can I just point out, if you were a company buying a company, what is the first thing you would look at is the books?
Due diligence.
So therefore, until I am happy and the chairman is happy with the current state of the accounts, I'm not willing to just sign off £5,000 without knowing where it's coming from and how much we've got coming in and going out.
Well, that's totally contrary to what we've all just agreed and voted on. They're upset.
Hey,
no, we haven't.
You've got the money.
We've not. You're just saying you could change it.
No, I didn't say I'd change it at all.
So what's the
Gentlemen.
problem?
The problem is when I want to pay it.
But it's not down to you. It's down to the members.
Gentlemen.
Oh, sorry.
No.
For those of you
Gentlemen.
that supported the proposition, thank you. For those of you who
Gentlemen.
didn't support it, I promise you 100%, I am not gloating and I'm not jumping over hoops. It was a genuine proposition based on genuine facts. That's what I believe.
Gentlemen.
And it was voted through, and there's no reason why that money, because we've agreed, the Treasurer's agreed that it can go, why should it now be left to one or two people to decide when we pay it?
Because
they might
those people
decide
are
that we can't afford it
responsible
this
for the
year, we'll pay it
finance.
next year. And then
Tam.
something else will happen.
Tam, come in. Tam, you're on.
Yeah, I've got you. I'm just giving it a second before I start speaking.
Go on then.
So, I think we're all more than content and happy that we as an organisation are going to be given £5,000, and it's been done democratically, and we're all content that it's going to be going to the charity of choice with the secretary. We're more than content with that. I don't think at this moment in time we need to start discussing or arguing what day, month or week that monies go across to the charity. That has been decided democratically and voted across. That money will be going to the Not Forgotten charity. I don't need to think we're needing to get the boxing gloves on to decide what day, week or month that money goes across. Thank you very much, Secretary. Thank you very much, membership.
Oh, he's nice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If nobody has got anything else for the good and benefit of the mess. Sorry.
The mess, yes, agreed.
Yeah, fill it up.
We know what you mean.
The bar.
Yeah.
I'll buy the first round in the bar.
Good man.
Yeah, hang on. David's got something to say. David Justice, yeah, go ahead.
With reference to the outstanding subs, Fred has offered to carry on chasing the subs, and there may be a breach of the Data Protection Act if he carried on with that, as he's no longer an officer of the committee. So my suggestion would be that we create a post of an assistant membership secretary, which will give Fred the right to chase those subs without being in breach of the Data Protection Act.
Yeah, that is something that, to my mind, is something that needs to be discussed at committee level, not at an AGM. So that is, yes, Mark.
Yeah, just a quick one. When's subs date due? Is it in April?
1st of April. 1st of April every year.
Can't something be put out on Facebook saying subs date, this amount, end of? And just send that out.
Yes. Yes.
And then everyone's on the same page. Because there's different amounts of subs, different people paying different amounts.
Yeah, but if I can hang on, Tam, let me just say what I'd like people to pass around to all the members that they are in contact with is sign up to the Commando Association Facebook page. It's there. It's all set up and running. All you've got to do is ask to join and quote your membership number, and then you can. Anything that comes for the Commando Association will go on that website. And as I said in my notes earlier on, the Commando Association CA Facebook page is not secure and is open to every Tom, Dick and Harry. And there are people on there that troll and cause bad news and bad feeling and everything else. That is why we set up the Commando Association Facebook page. And that is a way that we will communicate everything that goes on within the association to members. I will, in my first letter in the next issue of batches, absolutely push this as much as I possibly can. And I also intend to do, with David Justice's help, an email shot to all members with regards to the Commando Association Facebook page, because in the current climate, we can't get together as we'd like to, and communications in this day and age should be used to their full capacity, like we are now. So, please, all of you today, here now, if you aren't already on the Commando Association Facebook page, please go on there and get yourselves registered. Tam, you wanted to come in?
No, not at the moment, Peter, but please do before the end.
Okay. Paul, you've got something?
Yes, please. I just looked. There's 5.2 thousand members on that Commando Association page.
Yeah, but they're not all members of the Commando Association.
Oh, yeah, I understand that, but it's worthy of note that there are 5,200 people watching that site.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
But
thanks.
I'm not prepared to put on Commando Association business and events published on there for every Tom, Dick and Harry to look at.
Agreed. Does it need to be a private site?
Well, yes, if you want to keep it secure.
Yeah.
And that is why I am imploring members of the Commando Association to go onto our Facebook page, because it is secure. You can't join unless you've got a Commando Association number.
Well, that's the page I'm on right now. Commando Association page, CA.
Yeah,
No, that's the CA page. Go to the Commando Association page.
Okay.
Not the CA. It's just the Commando Association. No CA in brackets or anything like that. It's just the Commando Association page.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just one small thing, Peter.
Yes, David.
You know there's 3,000 or 4,000 members on it.
Yeah.
Not quite true. If they say there's all those different hits, if I go on it 10 times, that counts as 10 hits.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that 10 people have been on there.
No, I know. Thank you for that, David. Right, where was I? Right.
Any other business, and then Sam wants to close. If you don't,
let's put that up there.
What's happened?
Hello.
That was me. That's me.
Put that up there.
That's me. That's the Commando Association Facebook page, and you can see a certain familiar chap's smiling mug on it. So if you see Roy, you're on the right page, literally.
Good old Roy Cadman.
Here.
Bless him.
Okay, I'll
Thank
unshare
you.
that now.
Thank you, Ernie.
I'll unshare it.
So to get back to where we was.
Take it off now, Ern. You can get rid of it now.
I'm
Yeah,
trying.
I've got it now. Thanks. It's the first I've seen, though, I must admit.
Ernie, you've taken up the whole page here.
Only got 14.
Hang on.
Yeah, because there's people are
You
not.
need to drop that down now, Ern. Everybody's seen
I'm
it.
trying. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
How are you going to get the people that are on this other one that Phil was on about?
That's Commander Association CA.
Which most people are on, aren't they?
Yeah, which is
So
why
you're
I
going to
want-
get them off that onto that.
I'm gonna tell them.
All right.
I'm trying to get rid of him.
Yeah, well, what I'll do, I'll sign up to
Just
that.
posted a link to the page in the chat.
We know what's going on, and we can tell.
Trust you, Ernie.
He's gone, isn't he?
No,
He's gone, but we've got your scheduling made easy on there now.
All right, what you up to tonight then, Ernie?
I don't know yet. Right, hang on.
What's the point?
Hey, come back
Well
on.
done. Right. On that note, gentlemen,
Mr.
is
Chair.
anybody, Tam, you wanted to come in?
Mr. Chair.
Chairman,
Yep.
are you there?
Yep.
The floor is yours, sir.
Right, so I obviously missed about 10 minutes of that due to IT problems. I must have had 4 laptops on them. I was all right at the start, now I'm onto a mobile phone. So I'm probably going to just introduce myself to the members and say the wee part that I was going to be saying earlier on in AGM if I hadn't been rudely interrupted myself. I think so I'll start with my little speech that I was going to say earlier, and then I'll raise some points that and observations that I've made throughout the AGM for going forward. So that's what I was going to be saying to you round about point 11 on the agenda. So we'll just rewind in time and everybody calm down a bit. So I'm sure you would have all read my profile, which appeared in the fantastic issue number 45, which was on dispatches. So I'll not cover my history at this time or my career history at this time, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of time in the future that we'll hopefully be swinging the lantern, pulling up numerous sandbags so that we can tell plenty of escapades from ourselves, from our previous commandos that we know, and it functions in hopefully not too distant future. So it's with great pleasure that I assume the role as chairman of our historic, unique and treasured association, built by our forefathers, fathers, friends and relations on an ethos and values which holds us strong today, which I know is still serving as it did in 1940. I'm not going into a history lesson, but I'll still keep going as I am. So some of those values: courage, determination, unselfishness and cheerfulness in the face of adversity. Our ranks at the beginning, as we all know, were multi-cap badge from the 3 services, and that continues to be the case at this moment in time. It's a aspect which makes this association that we're all a part of unique, giving us diversity and strength. Through shared hardships and loss, gaining the green beret and representing the commando ethos during operations, deployments, and for most, even when a veteran, through the association. I'd personally like to thank you, the membership, for your ever-present, unwavered support, the outgoing committee. I'm sure you'll all agree that the role of the committee can be a thankless, difficult task. Our committee, for no financial gain, give up their precious time and effort to ensure that we're well represented throughout the world. It's a difficult task. So Fred, a special thanks needs to go to you, our retiring secretary, Mr. Fred Davis, without whom we may not be on this Zoom meeting right now. The organisation may have went, and this is the organisation we're proud to be a part of today. Fred, your tireless work and commitment towards this association has been nothing short of outstanding. Outstanding. So as me as a regimental careers management officer, the world outstanding in your annual report would get you promotion. But you've not got an annual report, Fred, sorry, and there's no promotion coming for you, mate. So from liaising with outside agencies and chatting about the councils, the Arboretum and the Council of Greenbridge, Fred, your work has ensured that we have been continually represented at the highest order. All the way to veterans' funerals, Fred, you're always there, making sure that the appropriate has been sent, the appropriate send-off is achieved to our veterans. But behind Fred, ensuring that the batteries are always charged, is Fred's wife and long-suffering wife, Joan. A special thanks again goes to Joan and all the association wives and partners who put up with all the stress, and I'm sure we'll do get an ear bashing once we all switch our Zoom calls this afternoon. No Joan, no Fred, no Fred, no association. So I hope we'll all be able to work together to ensure that this association moves on to the next phase of the operation in an appropriate manner. Your new committee will ensure that the association carries on in the future. We'll require continued advice, support and backing. And with that, the committee will ensure that you will be well represented wherever we go. So before I pass you on to the new secretary you're aware of, I'll just give a couple of points and observations that I've made during this. On to the subs, there will be some clarification sent because it looks as if clarification required as to the appropriate Facebook page for association members. The subs, we will ensure that we try our best to reach every member, be that by text, email, Facebook, dispatches and phone calls, and any other method that we can reach our members, we will endeavour to do so. So without furthering ado, I shall pass you back to Mr. Peter Oxley with hopefully a presentation for Fred. Mr. Secretary, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a small presentation to make to Fred. I don't know whether you can see it.
Can stand up? Oh, well.
Yeah. I'll put it in front of the camera. This is what Fred's getting. It's a crystal.
Oh.
And it says on it, presented to Fred Davis, Commando Veterans Association, with gratitude and respect for loyal service.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Well done, Fred. I'm glad they've done something.
Oh, get down so I can get on the camera. overwhelmed. Thank you, Tam, for those very kind words. Thank you, Peter, for making this presentation. And thank you all for supporting me throughout the years. Thoroughly enjoyed it. It has been part of my life. What you could have bought me was some gardening books, because obviously I've got some time to spend in the garden now, whatever.
I've got plenty of books you can have, Fred.
Sorry, Mac, what?
Tell him again. Tell him again. Say
No,
again.
it's all right. No, no.
He said he's got plenty of books you can have, Fred.
All right. Yeah. No, it's something that I will look back on with pride. I have started to write my memoirs. I was prompted to do that by a guy from the Imperial War Museum who bumped into me when 3 years ago I was lucky to be invited to 40 Commando got the freedom of Birmingham, and I went along there, and this guy stopped me in the street and said, "Can I have a look at your medals?" And from there, he was from the Imperial War Museum, and they conducted an interview, and now they've written my life story. So hopefully I'll get a book out soon, and you never know, one or two of you might even feature in it. But as I say, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for turning up. Thank you for all your support, not just for today, but throughout the years. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of hard work, but every bit of it has been enjoyable. And I hope that the association under the new management continues to prosper. And I will be there in any capacity that they so desire. If it's just a few clues on where to go, what to do, then so be it. If it's a more active part, then again, I'll make myself available. So once again, good luck to you all. Hope you all survive this horrible COVID, and hope it's not too long before we can meet socially. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Fred. Right, has anybody got anything else for the good and benefit of the association?
No.
No? In that case, ladies and gentlemen, I will now announce the meeting closed. Thank you very much for turning up.
Cheers, Peter.
I've no doubt we'll all be having a drink in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
In about 4 minutes.
Bill Pinter, good to see you, mate.
And you, buddy. Be careful.
And you.
Don't have him on the screen too often, he's ugly. And he's stood under the